Hello creative minds, welcome back to Style by Marvellgreg, and today's project I'll be showing you how to make this stylish princess dart asymmetric blouse with a unique hemline and an elegant bell sleeve. Now this design is very chic and flattering and perfect for adding a statement piece to your wardrobe. If this looks like what you're interested in, then stick with me to the end of this video as I'll be showing you how to achieve this beautiful dress. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification so you get notified anytime I post new tutorial. Without further ado, let's get right into the drafting of this tutorial. Don't forget to also include all your questions in the comment section as I'll be there to answer all your questions. Let's get right into it, guys. So you can draft this directly on your fabric, but I'm using a pattern paper for this at this point for this tutorial and I have it on fold. I've gone ahead to include my shoulder line, my bust point, my under bust, and for my waistline I have about 6 inches. So you can do 7 or 8 inches longer because the dress is a long dress. Yeah, so at the shoulder line I went ahead to impute the shoulder measurements I'm working with. I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope and 8 inches to get my chest line. So to get your chest line is your round bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. So I'm just going to include what I marked at my shoulder line exactly at my chest line to be able to get an accurate line. Then I divided it by 2 over there, came out by 0.5 inches, and I'm going to be connecting it all the way to my chest line. So at my chest line I already marked my round bust measurement divided by 4, sorry. So I'm going to do all that all the way to my top length, and after doing that I'll connect all the lines. I'll connect everything with a straight line just like I've done. Then my under bust I'll go out by 1 inches on the center front and 1.5 inches on the other side. This because I'm working with this pattern is for a busty person. If you're not on the busty side, you can do 1/2 inch and 1 inch on the other side. So now we're going to draft our princess dart, and to do that I'll connect that 4 inches that I divided at my armhole. I'll connect it all the way back into my nipple to nipple curve. Then I'll go out by 1/2 inch on both sides just like I'm doing here. Then I'll connect it again back to the curve, initial curve that I drew for the princess dart. Then at the last part I'll go out, I'll replace that 1 inches. You know I did 1/2 inch on both sides, so I'll replace 1 inches up and I'll connect it. I'll curve it very well, I'll replace it and I'll connect it, and that's going to be my new armhole curve. I'll connect it back to my armhole curve and I'll highlight it from a marker for you to see just like I'm doing here. So this part I'm highlighting now is going to be our new line that we'll be working with. So next now I'll curve from my under bust to my bust point. I will just use my curve rule to curve it all the way down just like I've done here, and our princess dart is ready. So you can see how it's looking now. So these are the parts we're going to be working with. So next we're going to impute all our round circumference measurements. So I'm going to be replacing all the darts I took. So at my under bust I'll replace the darts that I took, that's 2.5 inches. At my waistline I'll mark my round waist divided by 4 and I'll check what I have at my darts and I'll replace it. I'll do that as well for my top length and I'll connect all my lines after doing so. So at this point you can also go ahead and include your stitching allowance. Like I said, you can decide to draft this directly on your fabric. So I'm not using a fabric, this is just a drafting tutorial, that's why I'm just going this way. So you can decide to include your bust dart on this pattern to your preference. So you can decide to include the bust dart to give it a beautiful fitting at the bust area. So after doing that, now just go ahead and connect my slope, and remember I told you my pattern is on fold. So now I'm just going to draw what I have on this side on the other side for us to. So I need you to pay attention to this part now. So at the first part, if you observe the way the sleeve is, that's the shoulder. So at this part I'll mark 2 inches, and the other side I'm going to be marking 3.5 inches. Then from that 3.5 inches I'll go down by about 5.5 inches, and I'll connect with a straight line just like I've done here. If you observe, the one side, the shoulder, one side is longer than one side. So from that other 2 inches that I draw, I'll just connect it all the way to that point like so. So why I marked 2 inches on this side is by the time I use half inch to turn the lining of my dress, I'll be left with 1.5 inches, and the other side that I marked 3.5 inches, I'll use a half inch and I'll be left with 3 inches. So at that point you just connect it all the way to this down part. That is where you are going to go ahead and bead. You can decide to cut this part out, or you can decide to just bead it like this. Just ensure that you mark this point. That's how you're going to bead it all the way to the down part, because if you observe the dress, there's a bead at that point. So you just go ahead and bead that point, and our dress is almost ready. So next, now I went down by 1 inch for my waistline to connect our curve at, that's the hem line, the asymmetric hemline. So I'm just going to go ahead, I went ahead to just close all my darts, and I curved it like so. My video didn't record that part, so I'll just explain. I just curved it all the way to the other side. You can, if you look at the dress, you see that the curve is very pronounced. So just go ahead and curve it appropriately just like I've done here. And that's basically all for this drafting of the front piece. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut out. So pay attention to how I'm cutting it out. So at this point, if you're including a bust dart, ensure that you fold in the bust dart area before cutting it on your fabric. Or if you're cutting directly on your fabric and you want to close your bust dart, just ensure you mark the points where you've imputed your bust dart and notch it, so that when you are closing it up, you know exactly where you are closing up. So ensure you also label. It's very important. So this dress now is now in 3 parts, so ensure you label your 1, your 2, your 3, and you also use arrows to highlight the parts that you'll be joining together at every point. So this is how it's going to be. After doing this, we are going to go ahead and draft for our back piece. So the back piece is, since I'm using a pattern paper to draft this dress, you need to really pay attention, because I'm going to be showing you how you're going to manipulate the back piece, and you can use that one to draft the both sides of both the right side and the left side. So I'm just going to pin everything down appropriately for you to see how the outcome should be. So this is how it should be. Go ahead and use it to cut your fabric, and ensure that you include all your stitching allowance when you are cutting on your fabric. So this is what yours should look like. You can see how beautiful it's already looking. So like I said, you can decide to close your bust dart. So next we're going to go ahead and draft for our back piece. I've gone ahead to include all our basic measurement, and I also include 1.5 inches for our zipper allowance. I've gone ahead to mark chest line and every other line that we need, bust points, waistline, and top line. So now I'm just going to impute nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4 inches for this. I will impute that all the way. Then at the waistline, I'm going to be going out by half an inch on both sides for my dart leg. So that half an inch, after my bust point, I went down by 2 inches, and I'll go ahead and connect it all the way to my waistline and connect it back again to my top length, just like I have done on this video. So next now is to impute all my circumference measurements. At my waistline, I'm going to replace the dart leg that I took. Then at my top length, what I mark is my round hip measurement divided by 4, and I marked it. So I'm just going to be connecting all my lines to this part. So you have to be very careful if you are not drafting on your fabric, that's if you are drafting on a pattern, because you know that the back, one side is longer than one side, and if you don't place the back and the front together, you might not get the exact side that is curvy. So I'll advise that when you are cutting on this, you go ahead and place them together. So to eliminate a zipper bulge, I went in by 0.5 inches at my waistline, and I connected it to the slanting line upwards, and also connected it downward as well, just like I've done here for our zipper bulge. So now next, what we are going to be doing is we are going to go ahead and curve one side. Just like I said, ensure that you place your front and your back pattern before you curve it, so that you know exactly the side you are curving, so you don't end up curving the wrong side. So just ensure you mark 1 inches below your waistline, then go ahead and curve it all the way to this part, just like I've done here. Okay, so next I'm just going to show you how you can go about the neckline. So just imagine this is our extension for the back, that's the right side and the left side. So at this other side, I went out by 3.5 inches, which we did for the front, and this side I went out by 2 inches. So you're just going to go ahead and connect it all the way like this, you understand? So just imagine this is our full back piece pattern. Okay, so you observe that on the dress, one side is very slim and the other side shoulder is more pronounced. So this is your right and this is your left. So this is how it should be. I hope you understand what I'm trying to explain. This is how the back piece should be on your dress. One side is more pronounced than the other side. So ensure that you place your front piece and your back piece together, so that you will know exactly where you are cutting. So I'm just going to cut this out, and I'm also going to be explaining to you, if you are using a pattern and you want to use this same pattern to cut out your back piece, you can also do that, and I'll be showing you how to go about it. So just ensure that after you've drafted for one side of your pattern and you've cut it out, so when you want to draft to the other side, ensure that you extend your neckline and you cut a shorter part, and ensure you label it your right and your left side. Then ensure that you go ahead and curve this other side, because one side is definitely going to be curvy than the other side. So that's basically it for the back piece. So for the sleeve, I already have a tutorial on how to go about a bell sleeve, but I'll just use this to illustrate to you how you can go about the easy way. So you just have your pattern, and you just, after imputing all your circumference measurements, you just go ahead and connect it in a slanty method. So let it be very pronounced. Just ensure you curve this straight. I'm also going to be including the link for the bell sleeve on the description box, so that for you to go ahead and watch it. But this is how your bell sleeve should look like. It should look curvy at the ending part. And that's basically all for this tutorial. Bye.